Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to all. This is Carlos Bautista, the Director of Liturgy at St. Elizabeth Seton Catholic Church in Orland Hills. First and foremost, I would like to offer my prayers to all members of our liturgical ministries in our community who have been affected by the current climate, whether it is that you lost your job, God forbid, hopefully not, a family member or friend has been diagnosed with the virus, God forbid, hopefully not. A family member or friend is working in the front lines attending people who have been affected with the virus itself, or you personally have been affected spiritually by this disaster. And I am sure that for some or all, coming to the church was your special way to connect with our Lord, encountering Him in the sacraments, and also being connected with the rest of the community. Speaking of being connected with our community, I wanted to share with you a short story of how I came to come to the parish. Just really quick, I know that I shared this with one or two of you, but first of all, I was scared coming to the parish in the very beginning. So imagine a kid, a 25-year-old kid, his first job, fresh out of grad school, and was about to minister to a whole different community. I was scared. I was really scared. Like any person could be scared, and it's very normal to be scared. But the community, the faith of the community, and the way the parish priests and staff welcomed me made me realize how important it is for everybody to come to the church every Sunday at St. Elizabeth Seton Catholic Church. But why Elizabeth Seton? Or simply, how many of you put it, why Seton? Many, being amongst everybody for the time that we had together, I understand why, and I do understand why everybody feels very connected at this particular parish, why everybody feels like family at this parish. And being here for the first time for my first year, I came to understand and see how important this parish is for everybody. Whether it is this is where you connect with the Lord very more, or where you connect with the community. So I understand it, and being my first year, I came to understand why, and I see now why. Anyways, I want to let everybody know that my heart is with everyone. I constantly think about my ministers and the people that I see and meet every Sunday, every week, every day, especially the liturgical ministers, to the lectors who give their talent to read from the sacred scriptures like Jesus used to do, the sacristans who tirelessly, no matter how arduous or easy it may be, prepare and set up the sacred vessels and liturgical books for our masses, to the extraordinary ministers of Holy Communion who have a very special devotion to the Eucharist, who distribute the Eucharist amongst the community every day and every Sunday, the altar servers who assist the priests and serve the Lord during the celebration of the liturgy, the greeters who are the face of the community and represent the community at the door of our dear church, and to the ministers of care who take communion to the sick and homebound. And now I know that there are other liturgical ministers who assist with the liturgical functions of the church, like the ministers of consolation, the liturgical wedding coordinators, etc., etc., etc. And I just want to know that I think of every single one of you, and I wish to see every single one of you again. Personally, I am doing well. Thanks be to God. My family is doing very well. But we are kind of running out of things to do together because we constantly play the same games over and over again or eat the same food every day. But either way, we are all doing well. Thanks be to God. But now, on to business, as some of us say. We really don't know when we will be coming back to the church. And that's a question mark that's a question that's been flowing through our heads for the past few weeks, and especially mine. When are we coming back? When are we coming back? But Not coming back anytime soon means that for some of us, especially the liturgical ministers, excuse me, we wouldn't have to worry about our ministries at the parish. We don't have to worry about coming in early. We don't have to come in to set up for Mass, that it's our turn to read, that it's our turn to be Eucharistic ministers, that I'm bread 4, that I'm bread 3, that I'm the captain, that I'm bread 9, etc., etc. We don't have to worry about that. However, what I'm here to present to you, or in this case, I want to let you know of the battle plan that I have for all the liturgical ministers, and hopefully this will help everybody. In February, the extraordinary ministers of Holy Communion and I met in a series of general meetings, and that proved to be very helpful and instructive in my opinion. I learned so many new things from you, and the homework that I have to do, which is to find ways to not only keep everybody formed and trained, but make sure that every ministry receives the same type of formation and attention. And here's what I mean. I did mention that I will have to meet with every ministry, in this case the lectors, the altar servers, the greeters, the sacristans, after my meeting with the Eucharistic ministers. But for some of us, we are very familiar to how to use platforms like Zoom and Skype, but others don't. And since our masses are uploaded to YouTube, I figured why not try the same strategy that we are doing for the masses. And this is because when we have a meeting, I need to actually see everybody face to face, instead of just me giving a presentation and here's your presentation, and it will be hard for everybody to put in their questions, etc. So, and then going on live on Zoom and Skype, it will be hard for everybody to get online. So instead, I will be doing short presentations for each ministry. So like the Eucharistic ministers, I will be giving mini formation sessions based on your ministry, instead of making it seem like a meeting, so to say. And these formation sessions will be short 10-minute average videos that will be split into different parts. That way it won't seem like I'm giving like a 45 to an hour long lecture. So I don't want it to be like school, so to say, but I want it to be like very short, sweet, straight to the point, and little short presentations that pertain to your ministry. For example, for the lectors, and these are just examples, these are not the final this is not the final schedules, but this is just an example. The videos may consist to be like, for example, the first session, become a lector. How do we become a lector? Who can become a lector? What does the church say about who can become a lector, etc. Session number 2 could be the difference between reading and proclaiming. So I can pick up a book and read it, but when I'm actually being the lector at the Mass, am I reading or am I proclaiming it? The reading that I have to proclaim. So that's an example. And number 3, what to do and what not to do when you are on First Sunday, etc., etc., etc. So how should you dress? What should you do if, in this case, there are no lectors? Should you step up? Should you not step up? If you're the only lector who arrived at the church, and what should you do, etc. Okay, so this is just an example schedule. This is not the final schedule, but it is just to give everybody an idea of where I am right now with trying to do something for you. So this is like giving you like an idea. Oh, this is what Carlos is trying to do. So he's trying to form us. He's trying to feed us with something pertaining to our ministry, so we don't have to be away from the church, and then not having to worry about our ministry. And then when we come back, wait a minute, what does it mean to be a sacristan again? What does it mean to be a Eucharistic minister again? Well, what is that? So again, these short sessions will serve as a way for you to have that continuation of, I am away from the church. I am away from ministry, but I want to learn more about my ministry, and I want to continue keeping in touch with my ministry. So in this case, in other words, let me give you an analogy, so to say. Maybe you can understand me a little bit. During this pandemic, you're trying to call or stay in touch with your loved ones. How are you? How are you doing? And this is not just for a one-time thing. Sometimes we're gonna have to continually stay involved with the people that we love, calling them, making sure that they're okay, etc. So it's the same thing with our ministry. It's been a while since we've been at church, and it will be very good for us to stay in touch with our ministry. Not in the sense of, oh, how are you, sacristan ministry, or how are you, lector ministry. No, it's in the sense of being fed with the theological and the spiritual and aspects of the ministry. And this is where I come in, where I'm going to help you, guide you through this. But this is something that I really want to do with all of you, and I hope everybody finds it very, very well instructive in the end. Now, on another note, I will be doing the same thing in general for liturgy itself. So not pertaining to specific ministries itself, but to liturgy as in general, as one. So in this case, the topics, this is not the final schedule again, but the topics will range from liturgy in the scriptures. Where do we see liturgy alive in the scriptures? Where do we see the people of Israel, the liturgical practices? How do we see Jesus instituting the Eucharist or the priesthood, etc.? Where is the biblical evidence that we see that liturgy is coming alive there? Number 2, the priesthood and why we need it. What does it mean to be a priest, and why do we need the priesthood? Why is it important for us to have priests when distributing and handling the sacraments? Why can't we ourselves do priestly functions, like especially a lay person like me or you, who is not an ordained deacon, priest, or bishop? Why is it important to have these ordained ministers in our church? Number 3, why are there so many rules and regulations in liturgy? And does God even care about our rules and regulations? So again, these are just examples of talking about liturgy in general. And this was going to actually be part of a summer project for next year in 2021. But I thought of including it in these formation sessions, since we will be on the topic of liturgical functions and in liturgy in general. And this is going to be pertaining to every single person in ministry, and extending it also to the community itself. Learning more about the liturgy, learning more about our worship. And the reason behind my integration of this project is because I see that there is so little resource of people actually giving formation sessions or mini classes or other things pertaining to liturgy. I know that there are training sessions to be a Eucharistic minister, and you learn about the history of the Eucharist, training to be a minister of care, learning about the theology of suffering, the theology of death. But pertaining to liturgy itself is really rare. And so a lot of people tend to fall away in this sense. I have to go to mass every Sunday, but I don't really know what it means to go to church on Sunday. I do it because I have to, or I do it because my family has taught me from childhood that I have to go to mass or church, or etc. But we never really dive into the mysteries and the theology of the liturgy itself. So this is the reasoning behind trying to do the mini liturgy series next summer, but taking advantage of our little short presentations that each ministry will have. Why not throw that in? Just just to give it a start. Maybe next year we will dive into a deeper liturgical theology, and I'm really excited for that. If you have any questions, concerns, or suggestions, please feel free to email me, or if you would like to, I think you can leave a comment on the video. Just leave a comment and I'll look at them. Otherwise, feel free to email me. Let me know of whatever any other idea that you may have. Maybe we can do a live prayer session with all of us on Zoom or Skype or whatever, wherever you like to. Either the Divine Mercy Chaplet, or Rosary, or the Angelus, or any prayer that you would like to do together. I'm open to suggestions, and feel free to let me know. Email me, letting me know of your thoughts, of how you feel as well. How you feel is important as well. So even though if it's something that you need to express out, just feel free to do so. I'm welcoming on that. So this is the battle plan for liturgy at St. Elizabeth Seton Catholic Church. And again, I'm going to reiterate, we need to stay connected with our ministries. We need to stay up to date with our ministries. We need to stay in touch with our ministries, and be informed in our faith as best as we can. And in this sense, I'm not going to be giving out tests. I think that will be very silly. But these are just for you to use as a way for you to stay in touch. I'm not forcing anybody to do this. I'm not forcing anybody to in this case, you do this or you leave your ministry. No. This is just for me, for us to do an activity together, to stay in touch with our ministries again, and to grow in our faith, and also to stay connected with one another. And I believe that as long as we are continuing to ponder, pray, and reflect on the mysteries of our faith, we will understand them a little bit more and more on our human level. But that is the battle plan, my friends. Again, please take care of yourselves. And like I said in my earlier emails, you're all like my family. And it hurts, and it will hurt to hear that one of you is seriously in trouble. It's going to affect me very badly. And I know that some of you were or are there for me. And I can tell that you were or are there for me. Some of you check up on me. Some of you continuously tell me how, compliment me in the most beautiful ways that you could. And I really appreciate everybody doing that for me, especially this is my first year doing, ministering to you, being amongst you, celebrating Christmas together. And I know I was looking forward to celebrating Easter and Holy Week with all of you, but considering the circumstances, I still feel like I've spent Easter with everybody based on the masses that we have recorded and uploaded on Mass. Thinking of you as I read, thinking of you as we celebrate, as we participate in Mass. But now I ask that you allow me to be there for you. Allow me to share what I know, for not only for yourselves. I don't want whatever I'm going to share with you, I don't want you to keep it for yourselves, but I want you to give it to the legacy of the parish, for the future ministers to come, for the next generation to come. And that's the vision that I have since I began working at the parish, is for me to give it my all, share whatever I need to share with everybody, but make sure that everybody who receives what I give shares it with everybody else in the parish, and for many, many, many generations and many, many years to come, and at the parish. So I hope this was a very beautiful surprise for everybody to hear from me. I decided not to do an email this time, but to do a video for everybody. And I know that I did it a little late, but because I'm working on this project that I'm about to do with everybody. But attached, hopefully you will find the prayers of the faithful again. Or I don't know how many, or I don't know how are you sending in the names, or maybe you're sending them to Darlene or emailing her. And if you're doing that, totally fine. But don't be afraid. Don't be shy to continue to send us names of people who are sick or who have died, so we can put them in the prayers of the faithful. Okay. God bless everybody. Take care of everybody. Please, please, please stay safe.